Now you had a question earlier, or you had a comment earlier about why aren't we fixing these things? Okay? What's management doing in the industry? If we know that investigation is a problem, if we know validation is a problem for almost 10 years, how can we continue to be a problem? Well, I don't have an answer for that because I don't know what management is doing in these companies. One possibility, of course, is that the FDA is raising the bar every year. And there's some truth to that they are raising the bar, expecting more every year. But the other one is I don't think our management or the pharmaceutical company is putting their resources in their right place. Okay? So just as an example, the FDA was getting very concerned with the high level of recalls that we were having in the 2010 time period. And of course, the FDA is concerned, you're recalling because you made a bad product, okay? So they're very concerned about that. So what the FDA did was they hired a consultant, a well-known statistician, Dr. Lynn Torbeck, to analyze the recall data for 3 years. So the FDA actually gave him recall data for 3 years. Yeah, and say, please crunch it, analyze it, and find out what the root causes for all of these recalls by industry. Well, Dr. Lynn Torbeck, crunched all the data, and he came back and he said, well, I cannot find a definitive root cause for the recalls. But he said, here are some of the root causes for the root cause of the recalls. And one of the things that he criticized us, industry, for was that the reason why we're making such bad product is because we are having a lot of variations, a lot of deviations. We are making a lot of changes, and we are not well managing them. And when we don't manage them well, then we end up making bad product. And another thing that he criticized us on was that we are doing too much CA, corrective action. We're not doing enough PA, preventive action. Okay, so as you know, corrective action means something bad has happened. What are you going to do to fix the problem? And what are you going to do to prevent it from happening again? So corrective action includes preventive, but it is preventing a recurrence. But PA is something bad has not happened yet. What are you going to do to prevent that bad thing from happening? So PA is to prevent something from happening in the first place. So his criticism is we're spending a lot of time on CA, and therefore we don't have enough time to do PA, which means we're fighting fires. We're waiting for a fire to happen, and then we put it out, and then we come up with a solution on how to prevent that fire from happening again. Whereas we really should be putting our focus and our money and our resources to go out and look for where a fire could occur and do something about it before it happens. Okay. So that was his criticism of that. Another interesting trend that was revealed by industry was we were experiencing what we call process drift. That we have been making good product, nothing wrong, and all of a sudden we're encountering failures. Our batches are failing. Our process is drifting, okay? Drifting out of control. So there was a nice meeting with the Product Quality Research Institute, which included industry experts and FDA and so forth. And there was some really good testimony from company executive as to examples of problems that they had encountered. One executive from a major company said, we have been making this product for years, and we decided to make a change so that we can save $1,200 a year. That's probably what a lot of companies are doing out there, right, with their lean program and so forth. And after we made the change, and obviously they did not put enough focus in managing and evaluating change, they said after we made the change, we encountered failures, and it took us $2 million to fix that problem. So just to save $1,200, it cost them $2 million. So another problem, and this was more than one testimony from these major pharmaceutical companies, and it was on inadequate management of the change. So why are we not getting the right message? Another thing that I think also is that we're also putting our focus, I think management, putting our focus on what I call sexy programs, okay? No, we're having problems with investigation. Let's put more money, let's put more resources there. We're having problems with validation. Let's put more resources there. But instead, we're putting resources in some of the latest programs like risk assessment. Okay? I'm not against risk assessment, but also quality by design. I'm sure you've heard that, right? Everyone is into QBD. I have never seen a warning letter citation for inadequate or lack of QBD. But I see tons of warning letter citations for inadequate or lack of validation. So why are we not putting resources in the right places? In other words, we should be putting more resources into compliance rather than into these fancy programs and systems. That's just my opinion as to why do I not see a significant improvement there. Because we're fighting fires, we're not doing enough PA. Because we maybe are not putting the resources in the right places, and that is compliance.